As I said, no important deadlines coming up. The teams have until March 9th to decide on franchise tags and free agency. The official league will start on March 17th. The draft isn't until April 29th. So for all the talk about the quarterback movements, teams should theoretically have time to figure things out. There's still time. Get ready for the draft and also the franchise tags. Players and teams are engaged in an unprecedented public relations exercise because we always hear bits and pieces of what players want or what teams are thinking. This offseason's been crazy. Like, there's been a constant stream of reports, rumors, but both sides, like Houston and Seattle, are being forced to address uncomfortable situations here. And even if the teams don't have to make a decision, you can't just sit in silence. And if you're wondering, we did reach out to Seattle. We reached out to Pete Carroll to see if he would like to talk about Russell Wilson. Not that he wants to, but Fritzy made the call. We didn't get a hard no from the Seahawks, but if Pete Carroll decides that he'd like to join us, or their general manager, John Schneider, we would welcome them with open arms. We don't play sides here. We'll hear the Seahawks side and Russell's side down the road as well. But, you know, we love this information, the possibility. We always love the possibility of something happen. It's called wishful reporting. I talk about it all the time. You want something to happen, you know, because a lot of times we'll talk about it and you'll go, yeah, nothing came to fruition. It's like trade deadlines. Oh, the trade deadline, this guy's available, that guy could be available. And then the trade deadline comes about and then nobody's moved. But with what's going on with Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson, it feels like something's going to happen. And if one thing happens, that could lead to a domino effect. But you start to figure out what's going on with the Saints with Drew Brees. We were told, Jay Glazer, this was a month ago, Drew Brees retiring. Ian Rappaport joined us last week. Drew Brees retiring. There's a 0 chance Drew Brees is going to come back and play. And now, the more I thought about it, I went, okay, if I'm Drew Brees, he probably says, gosh, I got so banged up. I got all these broken ribs. I was hurt. And we almost beat the Buccaneers. We're not that far off. We still have a good team. And if I'm the Saints, I go, well, Drew Brees isn't going to cost me that much if he comes back. Do I want Drew Brees? And then Drew Brees' trainer posted a video of Drew Brees working out. I don't know what that means. It could be just fun. They could be tweaking us a little bit. Drew Brees is technically not retired. And I wonder, because I've been around a lot of athletes in 40 years. Drew Brees is on the short list of the most competitive people I have ever met. Not just football. I've played golf with him. So much so, when I played in a celebrity golf event in Tahoe, I had back-to-back birdies, and I'm lined up for a third. Drew Brees walks by me as I'm ready to putt, going, I can't bleeping believe you could have 3 birdies in a row. And then I missed the putt. He missed a putt on the 18th green, and I was with Ben Roethlisberger. Drew walked off the green after he made his putt for a par, did not shake our hands, went to the scorer's tent, and Brees went in there, and then Roethlisberger says, well, I guess I'll shake your hand twice for the quarterbacks in the group. So Drew Brees isn't going to go quietly into the night just because he has a TV deal. This is a guy who played with broken ribs. 11. Who knew you had 11? McLovin and Fritzy did. Back row went to class. I didn't. I've had ribs before. Texas ribs. That's why I don't know what's happening with Drew Brees. But I will say, with what happened with Russell Wilson, all 4 of the cities that he mentioned, Dallas, Chicago, New Orleans, the Raiders, it was like a coverage bomb was detonated. Nobody's talking about what's going on with the current quarterbacking situation. Everybody wants to talk about the possibility of Russell Wilson. In New Orleans, the New Orleans mayor trying to reach out and welcome Russell Wilson to town. Drew Brees hasn't retired yet. Dallas. Well, does Dallas want him? Hey, what would it take to get him? Hey, would we take him instead of Dak Prescott? The Raiders. It always feels like they're half in and half out with Derek Carr. And then the Chicago Bears? Sure, come on down. But that's what's interesting that's going on right now, the player empowerment here with these quarterbacks who are sort of dictating a game of musical chairs. I don't know if Russ is going to get traded. I thought after the following season would be his last year in Seattle. I have no information on that other than a gut feeling and look at the numbers. Dak Prescott, do you want him? I get the feeling that Seattle views Russell Wilson almost the way Dallas views Dak. We're not quite sure. Because if they were sure in Dallas, they would have signed Dak up almost 2 years ago and got a bargain. Seattle sort of lets Russ cook, but they don't want to. Do they take him for granted? We want to run the ball. Well, you don't have Marshawn Lynch anymore. Oh, we want to play great defense. You don't have the Legion of Boom anymore. Russ, it's 13-9. We're trailing fourth quarter. Can you help us win another game? All right. I never felt like Seattle was all in on Russell Wilson, on letting him cook. And Dallas with Dak Prescott? Yeah, but he wasn't a first-round pick. I don't know. Yeah, he had a good offensive line. Hey, Zeke, and yeah, he's got some weapons in there. We're not quite sure. Now you look at the mess that they're in. Now you got to pay him $37 million, and if you bring him back with a franchise tag after that, it's $52 million. You could have had him almost 2 years ago for a bargain. But something's happening. And here's another thing. Houston Chronicle's John McClain wrote a strong column saying it's time for the Texans to listen to trade offers for Deshaun Watson. There are a lot of columnists who might say something like this in a situation like this. When John McClain says something like this, I listen. I think John McClain is as dialed in as any columnist in America with their team. He was there before the Texans were there. And if John McClain says, now's the time to start listening for offers, I think the Texans are going to start listening for offers.